This program is a presentation of UCTV for educational and non-commercial use only.
UCLA is a university with unlimited possibilities for students that desire world-class academics and research, unmatched diversity, incredible cultural and social opportunities, successful alumni and career networking, first-class campus facilities, plus America's top intercollegiate sports teams. Located in Westwood, just a few miles from the Pacific Ocean, UCLA's 1 square mile campus is surrounded by famous cities such as Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, and Santa Monica.
Hello everybody and Happy New Year. Welcome to Westwood for another season of UCLA Bruin Talk. My name is Dave Marcus, joined as always by Naomi Manea. We hope you had a great holiday season, but now it's time to get down to business in class and on the athletic fields. And one of the programs that's going to be bringing great attention to UCLA is a national championship squad from last year. We'll meet them right after this.
Before we meet our first guest, let's take a look at this week's upcoming events.
The UCLA Bruins gymnastics team brought home the hardware last year, bringing another national championship to Westwood. We are pleased, as the new season's about to get underway, to be joined by the Hall of Fame coach Valerie Kondos-Field and by Vanessaa Zamarrippa, last year's NCAA vault champion and the Pac-10 Freshman of the Year. Vanessaa, you suffered a tough injury, torn Achilles, you're out for the year, but you're still going to be a part of the team. Tell us how you're going to be contributing this year.
Well, I do feel like I have a lot to offer, and I mean, I've been through it 2 years now, so I have a lot of experience. My first year as a freshman, I struggled a lot, and I couldn't stay on the beam for the life of me. I fell pretty much like the first 4 meets, and then my sophomore year didn't fall once on beam, so I feel like my experience the past 2 years, I have a lot to share, like for the freshmen and everyone else.
And one thing we'd like you to share, let's take a look at that ring. That is a national championship ring. You can't get those in stores, folks.
You need to speak like this to everyone you speak to, yeah.
Well.
Ms. Val, you talked in one of your recent question and answer sessions about somebody was asking about the lineup, who you're going to send out for the meets, and you said even if somebody's not competing in a meet, they still have a valuable contribution to make. Let's talk about Vanessaa and what she brings to the table this year, even though she's sidelined.
I think her contribution this year will mean more to her teammates than if she were competing, because everybody knows she's a beautiful gymnast and that she can put up big scores for them. She's never been seriously injured before and out for this long, so for her teammates to see her be a true team player, show up, contribute in any way that she can, whether it's conditioning with them or helping them coaching them, just being supportive, that is going to speak bigger to her teammates than if she were competing.
Coach Val, coming off of a championship year, of course, all the fans are really excited to see what the team has this upcoming year. What are your expectations of the team?
My expectations are to get us right back where we were last year so that we can hit 24 for 24, big, beautiful gymnastics, hit with confidence, and contend for another championship title. It's interesting with Vanessaa out, that opened 4 spots for her teammates to step up and see who can step up and fill those shoes. And now for the first part of the season, we've got Sam Peshek out, who is another huge loss score-wise to the team. But in looking at the glass half full instead of half empty, we really have a lot of depth in the 9.7 to 9.8 range. We have a lot of athletes that can get 9.9 and higher over these next, say, 3 to 4 weeks. And they're going to get not only opportunities in the gym with Vanessaa and Sam helping them, these 2 veterans, competitors helping them, but also they're going to get a lot more competitive experience now that they've got 8 full spots opened up with these 2 out. So I think the beginning of the season is going to be really fun. You're going to see a lot of different athletes compete. And then once we get to mid-season, we'll start solidifying our top 6, and that's when we're really going to see who rises to the top.
In addition to some spots opening up, you've got tremendous balance on your team between juniors, seniors, freshmen, sophomores, almost evenly split in all the categories. How does that mix of personnel help the team grow?
It's really interesting. No matter how much experience you have as a freshman coming in, freshman year is always tough. She was 3-time national champion before she came to us. She knew how to compete. The fact that she fell every single meet on balance beam for the first month, it was just unheard of. But when when gymnasts come to college and they start competing for a team the first time, they have to learn how to compete all over again. And they have to stop trying to be perfect and just realize that if they make a mistake, they're not letting their whole team down. That's a very difficult transition for them. So I'm glad that we've got that, to answer your question, I'm glad that we've got the spread out of the classes because even though we've got a lot of talent and experience in our freshmen, they're not going to have to carry the season for us.
Well, Vanessaa, let's follow up on that. Let's talk about what the pressure is when you come into a college program. What is the difference between something you've been doing your whole life and suddenly you're wearing the blue and gold, you're out there with your teammates?
Well, in club, it's mainly an individual sport. And so coming to college, it's all about the team. So that was very different for me, and having to really be a team player for my teammates, because in club I didn't have teammates. It was just me, so it was really different.
Vanessaa, you mentioned how it's individual before college, and not very many gymnasts actually go on to continue their careers after college. But recently you made the national team. Do you have any plans to continue your gymnastics career after college?
Well, it all depends on how things go, but I'm definitely wanting to compete internationally and stay with the national team. So.
Well, you made a great effort today coming up to our studio. You had to walk up a big hill on crutches, and I said to you, you're really going to be good on bars because your arms are going to get really strong. But tell us what your plans are for rehabbing and not pushing it too far, too fast.
Well, right now, the plan is just to rest and elevate as much as I can, and starting next week, I'll be able to apply some pressure on my foot, but just very little. So it's going to be a slow process. And rehab will probably start in a few weeks.
Coach, we showed the ring a second ago. Obviously, you have a target on you when you win the national championship. But in college, where you have turnover of personnel every year, I don't know if we can speak in terms of defending a national championship, but how much is defending a national championship on your minds?
Oh, absolutely. I like having the target on our back. I like going into meet because it makes every meet a big meet. I like the challenge of, obviously I hate injuries, every coach does, but I like the challenge of seeing what can we do now, with our plethora, our stable of athletes, how can we get them to be competitively excellent? I like knowing that, probably the team that is touted as having the best recruiting class is Florida. Their head coach was a Bruin. So that's fun, I love athletics. It's just, let's go play hard, play the game, and compete hard, and make that target as big as you want. Let's go get them.
Last year's NCAA's, the Super Six, got incredible ratings, and it ran about 1 million times on CBS College Sports. They ran it all the time.
Yep.
So the popularity of the sport probably has never been broader from a national perspective. This year, you introduced a new concept of the Pac-10 Showcase, where you have an early season meet here in Pauley Pavilion, everybody in the Pac-10, Pac-12 next year, but Pac-10 this year, competing, and that's going to get some TV play. How important is it to get that TV exposure at the beginning of the season?
Well, that's the whole reason why we coaches came up with the concept of the Pac-10 Showcase. We knew that TV liked, they were looking for another event to put on TV. We knew that they liked putting Pac-10s on. They've liked doing our dual meet. Last year they did a live dual meet, which they said got great ratings. So we said, great, we'll do it. You know, it's not optimal for us going to Utah, competing on Friday in front of 10,000 people, and then coming back to Pauley Pavilion and competing in Pauley Pavilion. There's going to be a lot of people there, all 7 Pac-10 teams. We're going to want to go out and compete well and hopefully win both of those meets. Obviously, that's not optimal for your first weekend out, but to be able to get more TV exposure, of course we'll do it.
Your next home meet isn't until the latter part of February, but that's going to be a big one too, and a very emotional time.
I think that meet is one of the meets this year that I'm most looking forward to, if not, besides the championship meets, if not the most important meet for us. We have got a situation here at UCLA where we're going to partner up with children with cardiac disease, with heart disease at UCLA. And we're having the Heart of a Champion meet. We're going to have some of the children there. They're going to be singing the national anthem. They're going to be telling their story. They're going to, show their scars. We went out to that camp, and I had lunch next to a 6-year-old that had had 9 heart surgeries. And so that Heart of a Champion meet is February 21st. It's going to be on Monday at 1 o'clock. But it's really going to be something very, very special. And I'm proud that we're doing it, and I'm excited to get more exposure for these children.
Well, Vanessaa, you've got some scars you can show for that meet. You've got something to talk about now with all the people coming to that meet.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the team this year.
Okay.
With a couple of your big guns out, who do you look to really step up for UCLA?
I'm looking to actually our sophomores, juniors, and seniors. They're veterans, even the sophomores. And I'm looking to them to show our freshmen they come in with a lot of competitive experience, but they're like little cubs out there. They're colts. They kind of are getting deer in the headlight when we have inter-squads. I'm looking for our upperclassmen to show our younger classmen how to compete with that confidence. And it's okay if you make a mistake. Just go out and give 100%.
Have you had a chance to watch the TV broadcast of the championships last year?
The Pac-10s or?
No, the NCAAs.
Yeah.
Describe the feeling of being part of that.
Well, being with my team, it's such an amazing feeling. Like when we went to nationals, we were all, our eyes were in the same goal, and we just worked together. We were only focusing on ourselves, and it was just great how everything worked out, and we had fun doing it.
What skills or new tricks or new routines or new faces are you excited about this year?
Every single year is different, and regardless of if they're juniors or seniors or Brittany's super senior, their faces, even though I've seen them, they're new, I would have to say I'm actually really excited for our sophomores, Lachelle and Monique, because Lachelle, both of them didn't compete as well as they could have last year, and at the end of the season, they both came back together to me, and they said, we're going to make a pinky swear promise. We're both competing the all-around next year. I'm like, great. And aren't they different this year? Mm-hmm. They're on fire. They've got this, you walk in our gym and you see a sign that says champions are made when no one else is watching. And they really have embodied that, and I think that they're ready to come out and have a different season than they did last year.
Well, UCLA Gymnastics just getting underway. Get out to the meets. You will have a great time. Vanessaa, thank you so much for coming in. I know it was hard for you to get here today. We really appreciated having you on the air. And Coach, always great to have you with us.
Thank you.
And we'll have more Bruin Talk right after this public service announcement.
A trophy can be made just about anywhere. But there's one place where champions are made. UCLA. Champions meet here.
Welcome back to Bruin Talk. Before we meet our next guest, let's take a look at this week's Athlete of the Week. This week, we honored Darexia Morris of the women's basketball team as our Student Athlete of the Week. Darexia is the leading scorer for the Bruins and notched 12 points in a recent win over Washington State on a perfect 6 for 6 from the floor. Darexia's scoring ability has helped the team to an 8th place rank, a rise of 7 spots from their original coaches poll ranking at the start of the season. Her talent also assisted the Bruins in their recent domination of Hawaii. The team currently holds a 13-1 overall record and look to continue their Pac-10 conference play. Congratulations, Darexia, and good luck to the rest of the team. If you would like additional information about UCLA athletics, please visit our website at www.uclabruins.com.
And the success of women's sports has always been a cornerstone of UCLA's outstanding athletic program, and one of the sports that consistently excels is women's golf. Just getting into the swing of things, we'll talk about the upcoming season with one of the best golf coaches in the nation, Carrie Forsyth. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
Now, we talked in the last segment with gymnastics about having a target on your back. You go out and you win the Pac-10 SEC Showdown by 11 shots. People are going to be looking at you. Tell us about how well it went for the Bruins.
It was an amazing week for us. We'd actually won an event prior to that, about a week before, but definitely the strongest field that we competed against in the fall. It was up at Stanford, hosted at Stanford, and it was just magical. We had made some changes in practice. We were trying some new things, and everything just clicked. The girls played fantastic, and it was a great experience too. We had a strong lead going into the final round, and sometimes in the past we'd had leads like that and we'd lost it. And we hung in there. The girls played really well, and very, very proud of our performance.
You had the additional complication of some weather issues up there.
Yeah.
Now, the Bruins don't have to play in weather that much. Tell us the mental aspect of getting prepared to play in bad conditions.
It's hard to replicate that. We really don't have bad conditions very often in practice. Hopefully this year, El Nino year, maybe we'll get some weather and get a little bit more comfortable in that situation. But we were just trying to remain really patient and just knowing, when you have to put all your gear on and you're wearing, 3 or 4 layers, it changes your swing, it changes your tempo, your speed, and there's an adjustment there. But the girls handled it really well, and we tried to have fun with it. And knowing that everybody has to play in those conditions is always sort of a mental relief too. So.
The majority of your girls are underclassmen this year, freshmen and sophomore. How does that affect the balance of the team?
Every year is so different, and as you go through, I've been coaching for a long time, and you know that every season is going to be different. The dynamic is going to be different. I've had years where I've had a lot of seniors and had not as good a dynamic as I have this year with a lot of freshmen. So it's great to have new people, new ideas. They bring a new approach to practice, and to have them contributing and getting that experience competitively early on is great for them as players. So I'm just really pleased with the dynamic, as I said, and the ability to get my younger players a lot of experience, because every year is again a new season, and we want to be good all the time.
A couple of your players, Stephanie Kono and Tiffany Lua, were on the 12-person Curtis Cup team, one of the prime international competitions. Match play, very nerve-wracking conditions. Yeah. How do you think their play in that competition is going to help them when they come and play in the college schedule?
It was just such a great experience for the girls. It's such an honor to be selected for the Curtis Cup. It's basically a nod saying that you are the best female amateur golfer or golfers in the country, and it was great for them. And any competitive experience that you have where you're really put in the spotlight, you're getting a lot of attention, it just builds in your repertoire of memories and positive experiences that you've had as a golfer. It builds confidence. And so for both of the girls, I think getting that recognition, being selected, it's just something that says you are the best in your group, and that creates a lot of confidence. They came back this season with feeling good about themselves as players, and knowing that all their hard work has paid off in a lot of ways, and knowing that they can do it. So.
And Tiffany Lua won the Landfair Classic tournament in North Carolina to start the season.
She did, yeah, she did. It was her first win in college, and it was something I was so happy for her because she's been working really hard and had a lot of close finishes where she almost got it done and then didn't quite. And it was just a really nice reward for her, I think, for everything that she's done.
Your story is inspirational, starting your career as a walk-on and ending up as now the 12th year coach of one of the best programs in the country. Has it been like a dream ride for you?
Who would have thought? It has. I kind of the accidental golf coach is what I consider myself, because I never envisioned myself in coaching when I was young as a player, and I just thought I was going to be a golfer and just play. And when that didn't really pan out for me, just to find a place where I could still, you know, be involved in the sport and contribute, and it's been so much more rewarding than I actually think any job that I would have had, or even playing as a professional, would have been for me. So I just feel really fortunate to be here at UCLA, my alma mater, and to be a part of the lives of these great players, and hopefully contribute to them in a way that makes golf something that they'll be doing for their lifetime too, whether it's as a professional or hopefully, if not, and maybe in coaching or other areas. So it's been fun.
Golf is such an individualistic sport, but yet here at UCLA they are still a team. How do you make that team atmosphere happen?
You know, it's a bit of a challenge every season because it is, I mean, their whole lives the girls play the sport as individuals. And so when we get in here, suddenly it's like, as the previous guests were talking about, Miss Val, you know, you have this sense of responsibility to your teammates. And that can add a lot of pressure for some of the players, especially the young ones. But, you know, it's such a great experience, and I try to emphasize that this is really the only opportunity that they'll have as golfers in their life to be a part of something bigger than just themselves. Inherently in our sport, and anytime you're in an individual sport, you know, you're very egocentric. It's very a self-centered sort of existence. You know, you're worrying about yourself, you're worrying about what you do, and you don't necessarily have great connections with those you compete with. This is the one opportunity where you really, you know, can make some friends and have a family atmosphere around your sport. And I think that the more we enhance that atmosphere, the camaraderie, the friendship, viewing as a family, the better it is for the players, and the more that they enjoy their experience. And, you know, my goal for every player is after they leave UCLA that they will look back on their years and say, wow, that was really the best time that I've ever had in golf.
We fast forward past graduation. A couple of your former players, Maya Tanaka and Ryan O'Toole, ended up competing against each other on the Big Break Sandals Resort. How hard was that to have you watch them play each other in an elimination format?
Oh, you know, it was tough. I mean, you know, how do you root for one over the other? And the odd thing was, both of the girls were so competitive with each other when in college, because they were both really vying for our 5th position on the traveling roster. So, you know, it was a fun dynamic to watch and see them. I'm really glad that they had the opportunity to do it and that they got the exposure and the attention, because on the women's side of the sport, in the professional realm, it's really, you know, there's not a ton of money out there in terms of sponsors and things like that, and it's really up to you to earn your way. And for them to get that opportunity to have exposure and you know, gain some sponsorships out of that for their professional careers, I think was a great thing for
They
both.
did you proud too. I know that they wore UCLA golf shoes. The program got a lot of exposure during that show.
I know. I was really happy about that. You know, like I said, I mean, I hope that they look back at their time and think, wow, that was a great time for me, and are proud to be Bruins. And when they're wearing the gear and you know, representing us so well, I think that says a lot.
Of any sport on campus, golf is probably the one that requires the most consistent mental focus. I mean, you know, a couple of bad shots can put you out of a tournament.
Yeah.
As your players come in and develop over the 4 years they're here, how do you work on developing the mental aspects of the game?
Well, we do a few things. We have a sports psychologist that helps out with our team and allows the girls. They talk sometimes more about the personal things than they are really about the golf, but it's all sort of related. And you know, it's just something that we have to pay a lot of attention to. We talk a lot about self-talk and you know, teach them what to do when they feel nervous, when they're under pressure. Try to do a lot of that in practice, so that when it's time to go compete, that they can take a deep breath and they can be 100% feel confident about themselves and their game and whatnot. But definitely at our level in the sport, that becomes, you know, what they say, 95, 98% of golf at a certain level is mental, and I would say that that's true. You can really see when players are getting out of their bubble and getting outside distractions coming in and not being able to focus. And so we really concentrate a lot on that and try to create a team bubble that's very solid. You know, a bubble made out of steel, we talk about, or things cannot enter unless we allow them to. So, you know, it's just a constant maintenance and making the girls aware of it and giving them the education that they need and the tools that they need to maintain.
How does your personal experience as a golfer previously to coaching affected your coaching style?
I think that my experience as a golfer, I've learned a lot about what not to do, how not to practice, how not to act and respond to bad shots and things like that. I had a very interesting golf career, but you know, I learned a lot about golf. I learned a lot about the swing, and I learned so much just in the experiences that I had and how I handled them and how I saw my teammates handle them and those athletes that I saw who were successful and who really went on and had great careers in the sport. And I bring all of that with me into coaching. I know what it was like to be the fifth player, the walk-on not getting the spot. I know what it was like to, you know, play on a team that won a national championship. Try to be a great student when you're also trying to be a great golfer. There's just so many, I've lived the experience that my players are having now, and I'm just trying to enhance it and make it even better for them than it was when I was here. So, you know, I have a lot of knowledge about the game, but I'm constantly learning, which I think is really a great thing about our sport. Things are changing very rapidly in our sport. There's a lot of new methodology, new swings, new concepts, new, you know, training, physical training programs, mental training programs. There's so much to continue to learn, and just trying to stay on the cutting edge of that is one of the things that gives me the most pleasure, but it's also probably the biggest challenge.
Well, new swings are nothing new to me. I have a different one every shot.
That's not good.
Our time has flown by here. Next time you come in, we'll have to give me some swing tips. But
You got it.
We wish you and the Bruins the best of luck in the upcoming season. You can keep track of women's golf and all the sports on UCLABruins.com. Carrie Forsyth, always glad to have you in here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us on UCLA Bruin Talk. Naomi and I will be back next time with another interesting show. Until then, Happy New Year again, everybody. We'll see you soon.